appreciate the organizing team of St. Mary's College, Puthanangadi and IPSR Solutions for the meticulous planning and systematic organization of this webinar. I am delighted to see the participants from all over India. Your participation is an indication of your commitment to learn new changes and developments. May this webinar on NEP enrich you with knowledge and require skills for your profession of imparting knowledge. Wishing you all the best. I remain. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Next, we have our revered guest, Dr. Rajan Varghese, the former Pro Vice Chancellor, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, and HOD Department of Economics, UC College, Alua. At present, he is a member secretary of Kerala Higher Educational Council, Trivandrum. With much honor, I invite Dr. Rajan Varghese for the inaugural address.
Okay, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Yes, okay. Good afternoon to all. In fact, I am very privileged to associate with the National Webinar on New Education Policy 2020, Challenges and Opportunities for Higher Education Institutions, organized by St. Mary's College, Puthanangadi. And there are several important resource persons and delegates are attending this national webinar. The principal, Father Benny Cholapalli, Dr. Mendes Jacob, Dr. Sunil Job, and all other faculty members. This is an opportunity for the council to explain some of the salient features. As you have pointed out, it is challenges and opportunities contained in the new education policy. Actually, the policy was announced by the central government. It's aimed to replace the 34-year-old national education policy, that is 1986. This policy is aligned to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It is argued that the aim of the policy is to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower by making both school and college education more holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary, suited to 21st century needs and bring out the unique capabilities of each student. So the NEP 2020 was expected to objectively review the achievements and failures of the previous national policies on education and to assess the new challenges that have emerged in the intervening years and articulate a vision that can be robustly connect ground realities and democratic aspirations to constitutional directives. Actually, the policy in its present form has failed to explain or objectively review the failures of earlier policies, but it contains several important changes, announcement with regard to education in general and higher education in particular. And we will be concentrating some of the important aspects that is pertaining to higher education. And the most important idea that is put forward in this document is a targeted GER growth of 50% by 2035. GER, or the gross enrollment ratio, is expected to increase to 50% by 2035. That is within a short period of 15 years. It is expected that enrollment in higher education in this country will cross 50%. It's an ambitious target given the prevailing economic and social conditions of this country. As you know, GER refers to the proportion of youth in the relevant age group 18 to 23 who are fortunate to enter the portals of higher education, or youth in the age group 18 to 23 who are enrolled in higher education as a proportion of the total youth population in the country. The present GER is only 26.3%. So we are actually targeting a quantum jump in GER. Actually, there is a close connection between quality of human development, enrollment in higher education. You must have heard of Human Development Index, HDI. It is actually proposed by or published by the UN and its agency with regard to the quality of human resources all over the world. And there is a close linkage between GER and Human Development Index. In the developed countries, the GER is supposed to be very high. Average of the OECD countries, Organization of Industrialized Countries, it's called the Club of the Rich Countries. The average GER is 60%. And UN report on education also says that if you want to initiate economic development in a sustainable manner, you have to at least 25% of GER. Only such countries can successfully initiate economic development. Take, for example, the case of the Nordic countries, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, etc., where GER is in the vicinity of 80%. And they are also on the top of the list of human development. Similarly, in the United States of America, the GER is nearly 82%. And all these countries are also high on the Human Development Index. So as students of development, we used to say that higher the GER, greater will be the level of human development. Today's world, economic development is actually reckoned in terms of the quality of human resources, the same thing as human development. So if you want to increase the pace of economic development or human development, you have to invest heavily on higher education. You have to increase enrollment. So this document also calls for massive investment in higher education. Then only you can attain the targeted goal of 50% of GER growth. But the point is, those countries which have achieved higher level of gross enrollment, GER, they have actually followed a path of public investment in higher education. You may have well-developed private universities in United States or elsewhere, but in the initial stages of expansion of higher education, most of the present day developed countries, they have invested heavily on education. Or in other words, it was a public investment or a public sector led expansion of higher education that has ensured a higher GER in higher education. But the situation in our country is actually the opposite of it. The government is not making adequate public expenditure on higher education. Here it is a private sector led growth of higher education that is visualized in the document. Today you have an increasing demand for higher education. Sometimes we call it as massification of higher education. The first generation learners, people who are marginalized, caste-wise, region-wise, they are also aspiring for entry into the portals of higher education. So there is increasing demand for higher education. This increasing demand for higher education can be met mainly by government expenditure or public expenditure. But instead, in this document, there is no strategy, there is no scheme for public investment, which can result in improvement in the gross enrollment ratio. So developed countries, they in the initial stages of their economic development and higher education development followed public expenditure or public sector, whereas in countries like India, where our target is very ambitious, 50% in enrollment within 15 years, but there is no scheme for massive funding of higher education. Things are left to the discipline of the market. If you leave things to the market, you cannot ensure an inclusive growth of higher education, or you cannot sustain the development in higher education because it is motivated by several other factors. So this is a major contradiction that is contained in the new higher education, new NEP, or what we call as the major challenge that is involved in this document is you have ambitious targets, but these targets are not matched by corresponding government intervention in the form of resource allocation for higher education. But it speaks about earmarking 6% of GDP for education. Actually, earmarking 6% GDP for education was a target that we set in 1964-66 in the first National Education Commission, the Kothari Commission. So the target is one and the same. And today we are expending only around 3.5 or 4% of our GDP on education. That is the combined expenditure of the central and the state government in education. So what is required at this point of time is the political will on the part of the government at all levels to invest heavily on education. In the draft document, there was a mention about increasing budget expenditure to nearly 20% over a period of 10 years. But this increase of 20% in budgetary allocation has actually vanished when the central government published the final document on NEP. So there is a deliberate omission with regard to the strategy of resource mobilization for achieving this targeted growth of GER. This is a major challenge that we have to confront in the coming years with regard to the increase in enrollment in education. There are other important issues such as the mention about dispensing or abandoning the affiliation system. Actually, it is noted that this system is prevailing in India only or in Bangladesh only. So it should be abandoned. Instead, we should give autonomy to all institutions. And the system actually visualizes 3 types of institutional arrangement after handling affiliation. First, you have multidisciplinary research universities. They are called the type 1 institutions. Second, you have multidisciplinary teaching universities. They are called the type 2 institutions. And finally, you have autonomous institutions or colleges. These have standardized and homogeneous functions, but these are at cross purpose with many higher education institutions that have been founded by specific legislation in order to cater to a specific regional or community needs. Additionally, in recommending the closure of affiliation type universities and colleges, the national education policy is actually overlooking the positive potential of these types of institutions. The affiliation, though it has several limitations, it allows for a pooling of and increased access in higher education for ordinary students in distant and remote villages in the country. The best example is our state. We have today 16 universities. We have 2 more universities created recently. One is the Digital University of Kerala and the Open University, Sri Narayana Guru Open University. If you leave these universities, out of the 14 universities that are in operation, 4 universities are affiliating universities. All other universities are, in a sense, discipline-based universities. They are not multidisciplinary universities in the strict sense. How the state of Kerala, which has ensured equity in education at all levels, can dispense with a system like affiliation that we are accustomed to. What is required today is modernization or increasing the efficiency of the system. The type of education imparted in University College in Thiruvananthapuram and the type of education that is being carried out in St. Mary's College, Puthanangadi, has several similarities because we are operating in a system called affiliating system where academic responsibilities, teaching learning process has several distinct features, whether you are in the city or the remote part of our state. So the affiliating system has ensured equity. It has increased access to remote villages, marginalized sections of society. But our affiliation system, because of several reasons, it is unwieldy. It is less efficient. That does not mean that we have to leave the system, abandon the system, and we'll switch over to the autonomous system. Suppose what will happen if all colleges are given autonomous status? For that purpose, also you require accreditation of a high order. If the non-accrediting institutions, if they fail to reach a certain standard, they have to face the music. So if the proposals like a 3-tier institutional system is implemented, even in a state like Kerala, it can create big problems in higher education. So the pattern that is suggested is not workable. It requires further discussion. It actually calls for reshaping our existing institutions, increasing the efficiency and quality of our colleges. Then there are several other suggestions regarding teacher education colleges. Also a big problem today they are facing. And if this suggestion is implemented, our teacher education colleges will also face the same situation. And there are other issues related to higher education with particular reference to Kerala. Take for example the case of establishment of higher education institutes of multidisciplinary nature. If you want to sustain, you have to develop your institution into a multidisciplinary bond. That again calls for massive investment. We have law university, we have technological university, we have medical university, we have health university, veterinary university. Actually, all these institutions, all of them in public domain, they have to invest heavily in order to gain the status of a multidisciplinary university or higher education institutions. So the most important thing is, you can think of changes, but you have to take into account the ground realities, especially the social impact of that decision, and also the resource availability. Then Kerala has been making several suggestions with regard to this policy, especially with regard to increasing GR and also strengthening the multidisciplinary nature of our colleges and universities. Government of Kerala has taken note of this new policy and it has initiated several steps. It has actually allowed colleges and universities to start new generation programs in university departments and in affiliated colleges. It has increased the number of seats in universities and colleges with a view to maximize enrollment. So several efforts are made by the government at this point of time, and a discussion of this nature initiated by St. Mary's College will definitely create an awareness among our students, our faculty, and the management with regard to the quality of education. And the last point that I would like to mention is with regard to the challenges of accreditation. Accreditation is going to be a big issue in the coming days. And we have only one accrediting agency today, especially for non-professional stream. The National Council for Assessment Accreditation, you have NAC. We have nearly 40,000 colleges. Only less than 15% of them are accredited. Same is the situation in Kerala. We have nearly 1,500 colleges, and out of these colleges, 220 of them are accredited either by the NAC or by NBA. So if accreditation is going to be a criteria for getting funds, getting new programs, the fate of our institutions, many of our institutions, will not be that bright. They have to face the music. Similarly, say the central government funding, especially under the RUSA, it is also dependent on a level of accreditation. And for the universities also, they cannot start new programs without getting a creditable score in their accreditation process. So the new education policy actually visualizes setting up of multiple agencies for accreditation. NAC will be treated as a national level umbrella under which other institutions, maybe both in the public and the private sector, will come up for accreditation. And it is in this context that the Higher Education Council, with the help of the government of Kerala, has started the State Level Assessment and Accreditation Council called the SAC. It has started its work. It is going to accredit colleges in the coming months. Actually, SAC accreditation is the first step for national level accreditation by NAC. It actually increases your preparedness for national level accreditation. So once you have national level challenges, For that purpose, you have to devise local level strategies. So you prepare your institutions for national or even global accreditation, first by undergoing local or regional level preparation by the national or the state assessment and accreditation council. And we have several criteria, which mainly include that of the National Assessment and Accreditation Council and also state specific criteria. So if you go for national level accreditation, you can get a creditable score while you prepare for the state level accreditation. So when you have a challenge mode of funding based on your level of accreditation, you have to improve the quality of teaching learning, and that is to be get accredited. Whether you like accreditation or not, it is going to be a reality. Only such institutions will get the benefit of new programs, benefit of funding, especially in the government and aided stream. So these are some of the responses to these national challenges that we are discussing today. You have a national perspective which may not completely suit your educational aspirations and requirements. At the same time, you have to devise regional level, institutional level strategies to engage with or to counter some of these challenges. And last point is with regard to the online education. Actually, the blended mode of learning has been popularized by the UGC, but we have to train our teachers in online education. Online education is not a repetition of your classroom teaching. It is actually a new method that you have to, for which you have to undergo training. The State Higher Education Council under the Faculty Development Center is offering all help to train our teachers in the art and science of online education. And we will be facilitating server facilities for those colleges which can successfully undergo Moodle LMS training program. State is offering help for such colleges to get digital or data facility in the state data center. So these are some of the challenges and the strategies that we adopt in the emerging situation at the national level. So you have a national policy, you have a state level reality, you have to engage with the national level policies, and you have to equip your teachers, you have to prepare your institution to meet these challenges. With these words, I conclude. I profusely thank the principal of the college, Father Benny, and also Dr. Mendes Jacob for giving me this opportunity to participate in this national webinar on NEP 2020. I hope a discussion of this sort in your institution will definitely impact the quality of teaching, learning, and evaluation in your college. This will definitely increase the relevance of our institution in the modern higher education scenario. With these words, I inaugurate the national webinar. Once again, I thank all the participants and faculty members of the college. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are really honored to have you here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. Now, before we end of the session. In case if you find it very difficult to post your queries in the chat box, you can raise your hand towards the end of the session and we will make sure to enable your mic. Let me also specify, ensure that the questions are respectful. We will not advocate disrespectful questions. We request all the audience to cooperate with us for the smooth going of our program. Thank you. Now, without much delay, let's move on to our class session. First, we have Dr. Sunil Job K, Adjunct Faculty of Marine College, Kutikanam, and Chief of Academics, IPSR Solutions Limited. He is a highly esteemed resource person in outcome-based education, Bloom's taxonomy, data analytics and visualization, machine learning, and research methodology. Dr. Sunil Job has more than 25 years of teaching experience and more than 10 years of corporate consultancy experience. He holds a PhD in mathematical education and has been an associate professor at MG University College for teacher education. He has served as the chief examiner of Valuation Board of MG University BA program, visiting team member of NCTE for grant of recognition, and as a resource person for Affiliation Renewal Committee of MG University, an active blogger in cutting-edge technologies in IT, education, and data science. Dr. Sunil Job has published articles in national journals and authored a few academic books and a reference manuals in mathematics. With much honor, let me welcome Dr. Sunil Job for the session on the topic NEP Demystified. Sir, please.
So, can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So, respected Principal Delhi, respected Manager Varghese, Reverend Father Varghese, the member secretary who have inaugurated this section, Dr. Rajan Varghese, Dr. Mentors, respected principals, the head of the departments, professors, and research scholars and well-wishers who have been there. A very good afternoon. Actually, I am very happy to be a part of this section. So let me first thank the organizing committee for inviting me to this section. Actually, we know that the topic of this webinar is very hot, as well as very relevant. If you could see that there are a lot of discussions, very hot discussions are going on nationally at the different levels regarding this policy, as well as the challenges that these policies bring to limelight when it comes to the implementation phase. So definitely this is a very good initiative that has been taken by St. Mary's College on this most relevant topic. And my role today in this section is to demystify national policy of education, just to, though you will be knowing about the basic concepts which has been showcased in this National Policy of Education 2020, just bringing to clarity of some of the most relevant concepts. And I'm very happy to hear that Dr. Rajan Varghese has very explicitly said about some ground realities that this National Policy of Education 2020 is over ambitious regarding many aspects, as he have pointed out that the gross enrollment ratio to rise up to more than 50% within 15 years is really something over ambitious. And when there is some restrictions without the financial outlay to acquire such a target without much public funding to acquire much target cannot be imagined. So definitely that gross enrollment ratio is directly proportional to the standard of living of the people as well as the economic development, as we all know. So if it is attained, that is a great thing, but how to attain is really a question. And not only that, a lot of concerns which Dr. Rajan Varghese has put forth is really a concern, a challenges about the existence of the colleges when this accreditation becomes overwhelming, because we know that everything will be decided on the basis of this accreditation by these accreditation agencies. And even we know that when you come to the this credit bank, without an A-level accreditation, you will be just that's thrown away from the academic credit bank. So, and on if you are going for these funding and all, this is a bigger criteria. So overemphasizes on that. Then the status of the teacher education institutions when it comes to integrated BEd program, there are a lot of challenges. So at this point of time, I'm not going into any of the challenges. My role today is, as I've told, is to demystify this national policy of education. And after this, Dr. Mendes, sir will be just showcasing on some of the relevant challenges, the first level challenges that from the teachers and students' point of view will be discussed at this point of at this level of our webinar. So without much of a delay, let me go on to my presentation. I've got some slides for you to share. So let me pass on to these slides regarding demystification. So could you please say whether the slide is okay? Can you view my slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's okay. Everything is fine. So let us go.
Yes.
So the first section of this seminar, we will just go on to the concepts which is been showcased under the National Educational Policy 2020, demystifying National Policy 2020. And in the second subsequent section to be followed by Dr. Mendes, we will be going to the challenges, though Dr. Rajan Varghese has triggered some very crucial challenges regarding the this national policy on education. So what is this national policy on education? It's completely a clean slate. I will just put it one by one. So as we know that the national policy in NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, is the first educational policy of this 21st century. And it replaces this National Policy on Education 1986 after a long 34 years. That is a very big gap. So actually, though we say that this National Policy on Education or NEP 2020 is the first education policy of 21st century, if you consider the situation of India, the National Policy of Education 2020 is the third educational policy, because the first educational policy that we had is National Policy on Education 1968. Which is rooted in the Kothari Commission, as Dr. Rajan Varghese has mentioned. It is rooted in Kothari Commission report 1964-66. But that policy didn't get much acceptance, because at that point of time, education was not in the concurrent list. It was in the state list. And the center could not take much initiatives in its implementation. So that was a very crucial issue at that time. And after that, it is in 1976, at the 46th Amendment of the Indian Constitution, that this education is been included in the concurrent list. And it is on 1986, it is during the Rajiv Gandhi government that National Policy on Education 1986 has come into existence. And actually, that was a very big landmark in the educational scenario of India, because the major focus of 1986 policy was to prepare the society to meet the challenges of the 21st century, to bring about equity in the educational system, to remove the disparity, to modernize the educational system. A lot of things was there in our previous educational policy. And as we know that there's Navodaya schools as the pace-setting schools, Operation Blackboard, establishment of diet, National Literacy Mission, a number of these the initiatives has come as a part of that policy. And it is a very big gap, this 34 years with the same policy without change is a very big gap. So it is the initiative has started, that is, it is on this 2016 that Subramanian Committee report has given a proposal for a new educational policy, because the policy 1986 is too old and it is not meeting many challenges of our current educational system. So on the basis of that, on 2017, Dr. K. Kasturi Rengan committee was been appointed to study about the educational challenges and to prepare a report. And it is this committee who has reviewed the educational system and has proposed these different the holistic change that has to be entertained in the educational system, and they submitted the report to the government of India, and that report was submitted to the government of India is on 2019, and this report is being published in MHIRD website for this opinion, the feedback of the people from different levels of the country. And on the basis of that, 29th July 2020, the Union Cabinet has approved the new educational policy. Actually, I just went through some of the history just at a glance, because we should know what is the root, how this national policy has come into existence. And the major focus of this this policy has showcased is that it is having a very emphasis to for the access and quality. That is, we want to convert our educational system of India as a number one of educational system by ensuring the quality and access to the educational system. And definitely the vision of the National Educational Policy 2020 is like this. I think Dr. Rajan Varghese also has commented on this, that the educational policy envisions a system of education rooted in Indian ethos and Indian culture that contribute directly to transforming India, that is Bharat, sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. So Q factor is very highly projected in this policy, thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. So that is what this policy envisions. So definitely, when you go deeper into the policies, we can see more ambitious. The policy is more ambitious without much look into the ground realities. To a certain extent, we could find that. But I'm not going into that. My role is to demystify, to showcase some of the key transformations that the national policy is trying to bring about. So anyhow, the national policy is projecting a complete makeover of the educational system. That is a disruption of the educational system into a new pattern of vision, as well as the new pattern of operations. So in my sections, I will be just going through these key highlights of the national policy, because this is national policy is a very comprehensively explained, projected out what are the policy decisions that has to be taken with respect to the college, with respect to the schools, with respect to the college, with respect to the distance education, and with respect to the professional education. It's a very comprehensive thing. And we will be showcasing more on the higher education. We are not much going into this school education at this point of time. Our discussions will be restricted to higher education. So going into the higher educations, we will take all these things one by one. I'm not included much hectic and much overloaded these features from these points. I've just only taken the nutshell of this. So let us go into this one by one. So first one is we know that the National Policy 2020 emphasizes on more flexible, holistic and multidisciplinary education. So the education should look like this: flexibility, holistic and multidisciplinary. So let us check it out. What are the features that the policy envisions for this? So more flexibility and student autonomy could be considered as the mark of the new new educational policy, or the National Educational Policy 2020. For convenience, I say that new educational policy 2020. So regarding the flexibility,
Hello, sir. Sir, you are not audible. Sir?
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible?
No, sir. It's not visible.
I think there is some issues with this
Yeah.
connectivity. I think here I couldn't find the control panel, my screen. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Actually, there was a connectivity issues.
It's okay, sir. It's okay.
So sorry for the
No,
inconvenience.
no problem. No problem, sir.
Okay. Let me change to the this presentation mode.
Yeah.
Actually, we were in this slide, right? We were speaking about the bigger autonomy that the student will be enjoying with respect to this National Policy 2020. That is, they can have that undergraduate degree. They could be available. Either they can have a three-year degree program or 4-year degree program. There are two streams, either 3 years or 4 years, with multiple entry and exit options. So this is the bigger, that is the biggest autonomy that the student is been gaining in this National Policy 2020. That is, the education has become not rigid; it is highly flexible. That the students are be able to take it in their convenience. So that is the bigger thing that you could find here. So we have told that there are two, that is the undergraduate education. The degree program could be available either as a 3-year program or a 4-year program. So the 3-year program or a 4-year program is in the sense that the students can progress either in this track. That is, they can enter the stream at the first year, and after completion of the first year, they can leave with a diploma certificate. That is, if they successfully complete first year of study, they will be getting a certificate or diploma. And after some period of time, they can come back and they can re-enter in the second year and progress, and they will be able to discontinue. And at that point of time, they will be able to get a advanced diploma. If they complete 3 years, they will get a bachelor's degree. And if they are leaving after the 4th year, if they're leaving after the 4th year, they'll be getting a honors degree with research. So we'll be wondering how this will be made possible. That is, this is the inbuilt flexibility that the students are going to enjoy in this, according to the new education policy 2020. That is, the students have got multiple entry and exit options. And this will be regulated by academic credit bank. Actually, academic credit bank is not a new thing, because in the foreign universities, they are having academic credit bank, which provides autonomy to the students to opt the subject that they have much preference, as well as the institutions for which they could study. So academic credit bank has been already announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi the previous month on at the first anniversary of the National Policy of Education 2020. On the first anniversary is announced. So the academic credit bank is just like a digital repository which any student can open. And the specialty is that if we are registering for a course, and if that institution has been registered under academic credit bank, if he considers, if we do any program, that is any courses from a college, that credit of the courses will be transferred to his account. So on completion of the first year or completion of the first semester, he can just move away from the college, and he can go to any other college where he'll be able to get an admission, or he can take an admission or continue the education in some Swayam or NPTL like that, some courses, and he can gain credits from these courses that he do. So on accumulation of the credits which is been necessary for a particular certificate, then he can redeem that credit and get a degree. So definitely this has got a lot of challenges as well as opportunities, which will be discussed in the later sections. So that is what this academic credit bank and the multiple entry and exit options suggest. So after all, that what the educators and promoters should provide is that they have to prepare a flexible curriculum with a different combination of discipline of study and build resources to provide multidisciplinary education. So the advantage of this academic credit bank is that the students can enroll for a program, and he can be able to get a creative combination of courses which is relevant for the program from different institutions at his own time, and he'll be able to redeem that credit whenever he finds that the credit that he has attained is sufficient for a particular degree. So that is the biggest change that we could find in the educational system, because we have viewing the educational system as very rigid. So the rigidity has been totally taken away with the flexibility and student autonomy. So now the flexibility, so that is what we could find in the graduation level. That is 3 or 4 years. The students can opt 3 or 4 years of degree. So regarding the master's degree, we have got to 3-track. That is, the institution can provide 2 years program. The 2-year program will be offered to those graduate students who have completed 3 years of graduation, not 4 years of graduation. If they have completed 3 years of graduations, that is a 2-year program will be given to with 2nd year devoted entirely for researches, and those who have completed 3 years of degree program. And 1-year program will be given to those students who have completed 4 years of bachelor degree with the research. So this is the specialty. So if you want to take post-graduation, if you have taken 4 years of degree program from from the multiple institutions, and you have redeemed it for a 4-year on this degree with the honors, then you can take a master's degree with 1-year credit. So if it is only 3 years, you have to spend 2 years for post-graduation. And the 3rd track is that we can have a single track of 5-year integrated program with both the bachelor's and master's degree. So this is the pattern which has been suggested for the courses for this graduation and post-graduation. And another important thing which we could find is that the MPhil program will be discontinued. So it is said that the MPhil program, the PhD level program will be much more better for a higher level research, because actually MPhil program was being the program is being introduced into the university just as a preparatory for these researches. So the MPhil program, there should no need for an MPhil program, because at every program, at every level of graduation and post-graduation, there is high priority for research. So that research and scientific attitude could be developed by this program, and they can directly step into the PhD programs. So here what we could find is that redesign master's program to give it flexibility to the students. So we could find that the element of rigidity is being taken away by introducing more and more flexibility into this education system. And the 3rd part which we could find is that flexible at the same time, holistic and multidisciplinary. So definitely, what is multidisciplinary and holistic? As we have all know that the multidisciplinary is that there is no divergence. There is no specializations. That is, the courses should be in more or less in a divergent track. That is, a student who has been studying an arts subject, they should be also exposed to STEM. That is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So those who are in an art stream, they should be they should have the opportunity to take a combination from the science stream, and vice versa. Those who are taking the science stream, they should be also provided with the courses from these arts and sciences. So we could find that the multidisciplinary approaches in the education able to explore greater heights of learning when the disciplines are in a multidisciplinary way. Another important highlight which we could find is that the aim is to develop all capacities of the individual, which emphasizes that the education should give importance for an all-round development of the individual, not only the scholastic level, the intellectual, aesthetic, social, physical, emotional, and moral in an integrated way. So definitely what happens is that there is no difference between, there is no bifurcation between curricular and extracurricular activities, because all these activities has to come to the mainstream for an integrated development of that individual. So the curriculum should be so poised in such a way that an all-round development of the students has to be fostered. And another important focus is that the flexible curriculum structure will enable creative combination of disciplines of study and would offer multiple entry and exit. This is what we could find through the academic credit bank. So by the academic credit, The students will be able to have a creative combination according to the taste. So this national policy focuses that the students should develop not only a single level of specialization, they need to have an overall idea about the multiple level of specializations according to their interest. And large multidisciplinary universities and colleges will facilitate the move towards the high quality, holistic and multidisciplinary education. So this is one of the concern which has been projected by Dr. Rajan Varghese, because the unitary universities or the universities which stands for a single domain will be paid off. This policy focuses on multidisciplinary universities and multidisciplinary institutions. So the consolidation of the disciplines and providing the students the different opportunities to go through the different disciplines by taking multiple combination of courses according to their taste. So that is another important thing that we could find. So more holistic, flexible and multidisciplinary is one of the major significant features that we could find in this. So these have got a lot of threat. Those institutions and universities which is focusing on a unit discipline will have to convert it into multidisciplinary universities and colleges, which is a very big financial burden which has to be taken care of. So that is something very, very important. So with respect to the educators and promoters, prepare flexible curriculum with different combination of disciplines of study and build resources of multidisciplinary education. So this is one of the challenges that the promoters have to ensure. And the students exit and enter the program as the choice and get degree and diploma with credit earns. So the credits are the credit actually means that if the student spends 1 hour 1 week for a period of 13 to 15 weeks, he gets a credit. So that is the pattern of credits, which is a well-defined pattern. I'm not going into that. So this is one important features of this national policy targeted. And the other is institutional restructuring and consolidation. Institutional restructuring and consolidation. So this is another important focus that at present we have got 50,000 higher education institutions, which includes 800 universities, 44,000 colleges and other institutions to count about 50,000. So this will be consolidated into 15,000 large, well-resourced, vibrant, multidisciplinary institution or clusters. So the independent institutions or standalone institutions will be converted into either multidisciplinary institutions, or they have to work in a cluster or as a knowledge hub which constituted by the different institutions. So, and another important thing is that these multidisciplinary courses, these institutions should have a higher intake of students, that is, each of which should aim to have 3,000 plus students. So that is something, there is a big investment outlay that has to be be made for the development of the facilities for the intake of the students to a very higher level. So this is one thing which we could find, that consolidation, that 50,000 universities will be consolidated, integrated into 15,000 large, well-resourced, vibrant, multidisciplinary institutions. So definitely there will be 3 types of institutions. One is the universities, that is the universities, the concept of university changes. It is not just this is affiliating agency or degree granting. The university has to give focus more on this teaching and researches. The university should focus more on teaching and resources and collaboration with the community. Community engagements has to be taken by the universities. That is something something which has been highlighted in these policies. And the second type of institutions is autonomous degree granting colleges, autonomous degree granting colleges, and the third one is constituent colleges. So at the first level, there will be these three types of institutions. The universities moving from deemed universities or unitary universities to multidisciplinary universities, and autonomous colleges which should be multidisciplinary, and the constituent colleges within a period of 15 years should transform into these autonomous degree granting these colleges. So that is something, a big challenge for the small institutions. So that is a bigger thing. So the focus of this is to eliminate the fragmentation of at the higher education institutions. There should not be more mushrooming of the colleges. The colleges should be integrated, and elimination of the fragmentation at the higher education cost. And the universities as well as the colleges, they should give more importance for these multidisciplinary education as well as researches, and this community and social engagements has to be promoted. The social engagement is to be given priority at the educational levels. So that is what the consolidation says. And the bigger thing is that the accreditation system will develop and use appropriate and relevant norms for the above three types of higher education institutions. So it has become mandatory that every institutions should grade a higher level of accreditation. Then only they'll be able to move upper in the educational ladder, from moving from the constituent college to the autonomous degree granting college. They have to get the higher level of accreditation. So accreditation becomes more and more important for availing fund from the central government or RUSA fund, whatever it may be. The accreditation has become, or for availing any facilities, or to get even to get registration in the this academic ABC, academic bank of credit. There should be a minimum A-level accreditation. So the accreditation system will be very powerfully regulating the functioning of these institutions, and it says that there will be some very transparent norms and criteria for the accreditation of the system. So in long run, this single stream will be phased out, and the single stream will be moved to the multidisciplinary and autonomous degree granting institutions in 15 years. That is also a big high ambition, because it is a Herculean task for the smaller institutions to scale such a greater heights in a small span of time. So these educators, and from the part of the educators and promoters, the vibrant community of scholars and peers and resources for the large group of students, and from the students' point of view, gain high quality of knowledge and expertise in various disciplines. So that is why their focus is that the students can gain a high quality of knowledge and expertise from multidiscipline, because rather than specializing in a single domain, the multiple discipline make them more productive. That is one of the major focus that we could find in this consolidation and multidisciplinary education. And obviously enhancing autonomy of the institutions. That also we know that the affiliation to stop, and affiliated college have to develop into autonomous degree granting colleges. So the present scenario, that is the university and affiliated college pattern, will change, and the affiliation will stop. And these affiliated colleges have to develop into the category of colleges, the constituent colleges have to develop into constituent and autonomous colleges by getting a higher level of accreditation and expansion of the facilities from this unitary domain to multidisciplinary domain. So that is something, a very big challenge that has to be faced. Affiliating universities will develop into and these affiliating universities will develop into vibrant multidisciplinary institutions. So the status of the university is not it's not a regulatory system. It should develop into the toppest level. The toppest level, these the toppest level research centers or this academic platform for the students to learn. So that the university should be transformed into multidisciplinary institutions, not universities' present status. So what it emphasizes that graded accreditation and graded autonomy in a phased manner over a period of 15 years to become self-governing institutions. That is what we have highlighted in the previous slide. That is, the constituent colleges within 15 years have to transform into these and autonomous colleges, step by step by graded autonomy, increasing the accreditation and getting into that level. And once they get into that level, or this autonomy, then establishment of a board of governance that is constituting a group of high qualified, competent, dedicated individuals. So they have to formulate their own the board of governance for every colleges that constituted a high profile these academicians and scholars, and they have the board of the board of governance of an institutions will be empowered to govern that institutions and make all appointments and all decisions regarding the governance. So that is the autonomy part for the institutions. So there is self-governing institutions who are capable of making appointments, then as well as all the institutions are free to start, run programs, decide curricula, the student capacity, resource equipments, internal system of governance, all these things. So it has been giving full autonomy to the institutions in a phased manner. So the constituent colleges or affiliated colleges will convert it into an autonomous degree granting institutions with a very powerful board of governance. So that is another important thing which has been envisioned in this policy. And regarding the language policy, because I think we'll be remembering what we have showcased in the vision of 2020, National Policy 2020, that it should be rooted in Indian ethos. So multilingualism and the power of language in teaching has to be emphasized there. So obviously, it says that the teaching and learning of the Indian language need to be integrated at all levels of education. If it is at the school level, early implementation of three-language formula, that is, three language means the regional language, the national language, as well as the English has to be taught, and they have to be taught in such a way that all the three languages should not be implemented in the same way. But now this policy has suggested that an early implementation of this three-language formula has to be at the school level. And at the college level, it has suggested that a bilingual education, wherever possible, the regional language should be prioritized in the educational system, not only as the departments, but also as the medium of instruction. Both the regional language and the English could be adopted for these instructional purposes. So they have given top priority to the Indian culture and ethos. So the Indian culture and ethos will be in its finest form when the things are communicated in the regional or the local languages, as well as the educational system should be projected to the international level. So the English also should be given top priority. So bilingual education is being emphasized, and also that the Indian art for all kinds must be offered to the students at all levels. So here, not only the lingualism, not only the language policy, the Indian arts, the different Indian art forms has to be integrated with the educational system at every levels according to their grade. And not only that, the department and programs in Indian languages, as well as the different cultural departments pertaining to the different cultural diversities has to be established at this institutional level, these multidisciplinary institutions. So not only the language department, literature, but the other fine arts and other subjects also should be prioritized, and it should be integrated with the curricula, and it should not be segregated away from the students. They also should be integrated for the students. And not only that, there is another important thing. Every higher education institution and school will aim to have artist to expose students to the art and rich treasures of region. So the performing artists and those who are qualified in the different art forms should be appointed in these education institutions, so that the students should get the real vibrance of the different art forms of India. So they are rooted in our customs as well as in traditions. And the transformation of the regulatory system, this is something very important. I'm going with a little fast because Dr. Mendes also have to speak at this in this section, because we had lost some time in the beginning and in between. So regarding the regulatory system, it is quite significant that there is a consolidation at the system level also, the regulatory system level also. That is the Higher Education Commission of India. The Higher Education Commission of India will be the top agency to regulate the entire higher educational system. There is no fragmented, there is no different verticals. It has opposed different verticals, and it says that all the higher education should come under the umbrella of this Higher Education Commission. And this Higher Education Commission will be having four verticals. The first vertical is regulation, the second is accreditation, the third is funding, and the fourth is academic standard setting. All these four verticals of higher education will be performed by distinct, independent and empowered bodies set up under Higher Education Commission of India. So the Higher Education Commission has got four major verticals, where first vertical focuses on the regulations, second accreditations, third the role of the UGC for funding, and last one the academic standard setting. So this will be the pattern of the Higher Education Commission of India, HECI. The first one that cater into the regulation will be National Higher Education Regulatory Council. The second, accreditation, will be done by National Accreditation Council, and the third one, funding, will be carried out by Higher Education Grant Council, and the academic standard setting will be looked upon by General Education Council of GEI. So this is a single point regulatory on higher education, robust system of grading and accreditation, funding higher education based on criteria, and framing the expected learning outcomes for the programs. So this is something very significant. The outcome-based education, the outcomes, what should be the outcomes of the programs and courses? Some regulations will be set up by the General Council of Education. So that will be something, a positive side that give some indications for the institutions on how to regulate their programs, because in academic credit bank the students are given an opportunity to take this pursue the education in different institutions. So there should be some parity with respect to the outcomes of these programs at different levels. So it will be taken care by the General Council of Education, and these professional agencies will be familiar with these professional agencies, that is the professional agencies like this ICAR, that is Indian Council for Agriculture Research, or the Veterinary Council of India, National Council of Teacher Education, or this Council of this Architecture, or National Council for Vocational Education Training. Like that, we have got a number of professional councils which is already there. They will function as but there will be, these councils will be functioning under the General Education Council, which will be which will act as a professional standard setting body to do the regulatory rule. So this will be the pattern of the regulatory system of the higher education system. So the higher education system, they will be having a unique umbrella for the regulatory system which functions in 4 verticals. So that is something very significant. And also for promoting high quality researches. That is something very important, because as it is said that the major researches of India is been happening in this national labs, central universities, IITs, or this Indian Institute of Science, or TIR, of that is the Tata Institute of Fundamental the fundamental researches. These are the major the major icons of research in India. But it is said that the 95% of students are studying in the Indian university, in the state universities and the other colleges. So there should be a national research foundation to coordinate, to create a linkage between these institutions for promoting of this research. So it is on that basis that National Research Foundation NRF has to be implemented. So it is an umbrella structure to strengthen research ecosystem in India. This is to improve the linkage between research, development, academy, and industry. So this is something very important. So these researches which has been taken progressing in the academy should be industry relevant or society significant. So that has to be catered important. So there should be a linkage between these. These institutions should not function in isolations. So throughout this report, we could find that there is a consolidation, collaboration between these, even if it is the agency of governance or between the institutions or whatever it may be, or with respect to the subjects, there is a consolidation which has been happening throughout these policies. So here it is suggested that the foundation will give 4 major divisions to start with. So to begin with, these are the areas which will be these 4 areas will be given priority at the first stage: science, technology, social science, art and humanities, and later on they will add to the other domains. And another important thing is that the fund and support large-scale multi-investigator, multi-institution, multidisciplinary, and multinational projects will be given priority. So this is something very important. These institutions so that has to be promoted. So multi-investigators, multi-institutional, multidisciplinary, and multinational projects will be promoted here. As well as it is suggested that a total outlay of 50 crores 50,000 crores over a period of 5 years to strengthen the research ecosystem in India. This is a very huge amount which is being projected in the national policy for promotion of researches. So definitely this higher education will be converted into a place of higher quality researches which are multidisciplinary as well as multi-investigator and multi-institutional. That is why in the undergraduate courses of 4th year, the 4th year will be totally dedicated for research. So those who are leaving this degree program after 4 years, they will be having a research level wavelength to cater into the different issues and problems. And finally, these recognitions and outstanding researches will be awarded by proper recognitions will be given. So that will be the role of these for the research, for promoting quality researches. And another important thing is that re-imaging the vocational and education, for re-imaging, because the vocational education was being given prioritized right from the Mudaliar Commission report 1953, Kothari Commission report, national policy, all these committee reports as well as the previous national policy were prioritizing on vocationalization, but vocationalization is not getting that much of acceptance against among the people, because it considers it as a second level. That is, low social status has been given to vocational education. So re-imaging the vocational education is another important focus. That is the vocational education to mainstream of the education system and overcoming the social status hierarchy associated with a vocational stream, because the vocational stream has been considered as a second tier. So that image has to be taken away. A lot of suggestions were been there, and I have just included only few. That is, the vocational education must be an integral part of all education, right from the school to the college. The vocational education should be there, and provide access to vocational education to at least 50% of the learners. This is also something very ambitious. That is, 50% of the scholars should give importance in vocational education in the schools and colleges by 2025. And the beginning with the vocational exposure at the early ages of middle and secondary school, the quality of the vocational education will be integrated smoothly into higher education. So the vocational education at the current scenario, we have got a vocational stream up to the secondary level, vocational higher secondary level, and this has to be extended to the college level with a beautiful and smooth integration with the higher education stream. That is something very significant, which has been studied, which has been showcased there. And not only that, the vocational courses should open distance learning will be made available. So that is to facilitate more and more students in the vocational stream. It can be also taken as an online distance education ODL program. So that is also, so the universities and institutions can conduct online, this is open distance education programs on vocational stream, and vocational education will be integrated into the phased manner over the next decade. So this is some of the suggestions regarding the vocational educations. And regarding the faculty, definitely the teachers, according to the teachers, the duty will not be excessive, because the the teacher-student ratio will not be too high, so that the teacher remain pleasant and for adequate time of interaction with the students and conducting research. So the teacher-student ratio will be considerably made optimized, so that the teacher can have a personal space with the students in their academic as well as in the research-related activities. And also to lessen the burden, there will be a proportionally compatible ratio between the student-teacher ratio will be maintained. The faculty will be given autonomy. That is something very important. The autonomy to design curriculum pedagogy approach within the approved framework. Framework will be there, and the teachers could be able to have their own inputs in innovative teaching practices, pedagogical approaches, all these, and researches, etc. And excellence will be incentivized with the rewards, promotion, recognition, and movement towards the institutional leadership. So the teachers, their performance in the academics as well as the research and in the different relevant activities of the institutions will be prioritized in giving promotions and incentives. And another important thing is that higher education institutions will clearly define independent, transparent process of and criteria for faculty recruitment. So this faculty recruitment will be transparent, will be made transparent, and this explicit regulations will be given by the Higher Education Council's regulatory body. We found that there will be 4 agencies. They will be explicitly providing the regulatory body for regulations for appointment of the teachers, and it should be made transparent, and this ad hoc appointment will be stopped, and full-time appointments will be given importance there. There shall be fast-track promotion system for recognizing and impact of research contributions. So that is something. The more than that of the period, these years of experiences, the credentials that they gain by researchers and their contributions towards the field of innovations will be counted as a criteria for promotion. So that is something very relevant, and for the teachers who have that much of mindsets to contribute for the development, and for the part of the from the students, an optimum learning environment. Obviously, throughout the throughout the policy. The students, the student stakeholders has been very positively inclined. That is, the institution and faculty have autonomy to innovate curricular pedagogy and assessment within the broad framework. That is, higher education institutions shall give priority to continuous and comprehensive evaluation than high-stake examinations. So that is something very important. That is continuous and formative evaluation of the students' progress throughout their academic progress will be taken into consideration, and less weightage will be given to the external examinations. The high-quality support centers and professional academic and counselings will be made available to the students. So that is something very important. The students will be mentored by the teachers, as well as the specific counseling will be provided by the specialized agencies in their educational issues, as well as in the career related issues. The students will be given plenty of opportunities to participate in sports, culture, arts, these club activities, community service projects, etc. So definitely, the educational environment will not be totally focusing on the academic area. Both this academic as well as the extracurricular activity, which we were categorizing these activities priorly, will be made as a part of the curriculum only. So the students will be having a number of opportunities for them to excel in different dimensions. And financial assistance to the students will be made available to different measures. A lot of scholarships and funding will be available through different venues. And India will promote as a global study destination, providing premium education to affordable cost, thereby providing to restore it as a Vishwaguru. So this is something that is the Indian educational system will give more, will also inviting the students from the different other countries. That is, it focuses on internalization of internalization of this education by inviting students, giving opportunities to the students from the different other countries, as well as it will also there are clauses in this a policy to invite prominent universities from globally to provide education and to flourish in India. So an internalization of the education is also given priority in this policy. So these are some of the major highlights that we could find in this national policy 2020. This is a very short time. I could only just glance through these programs. So I'll be concluding at this point of time. Thank you. And Dr. Mendes will be addressing you subsequently on these issues. And after that, we can go into the question and answer section after that. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, sir, for spending your valuable time with us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we have Dr. Mendes Jacob, sir, a prominent academician and entrepreneur with 30+ years of experience. He is also the director of MCA program at Marian College, Kutikana, former director of School of Applicable Mathematics.
I think there is some connectivity issue. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. Yeah, before going to the section, just go through this link, which is
Hello.
hello.
Okay, sir. You are welcome, sir. Welcome. Sir, hello.
Yeah, just 1 minute.
Okay, sir. Let's start your session. Welcome.
Okay, good afternoon again. I just posted a link in the chat box. Please go through that link because I think sitting for the last around 1.5 hours. Just go through that link. It's a small activity. Meantime, we will start the session. This is a poll. Otherwise, you can just go to menti.com and use the code 48357755. So there is a question whether NEP 2020 is most benefited for whom, like higher education institutions or faculty or students or none. You can post your opinion. Yeah. Based on the session, I think we have gone through the processes, the recommendations of NEP. So based on that, it is most benefited for whom? Just go through that link. Otherwise, you can go to menti.com and you can type the code 48357755. Both ways you can vote for the options. We need some more responses. Please be quick. That is again more. Either you can use that link in the chat box or you can go to menti.com and you can use the code. You will be asked a code there, 48357755. That is the code. This is displayed here. Okay, so we can finish. You can see the trend. I think this will be the trend. I know if all of you what. I think all of you are faculty members, and I think most of you are disappointed with the NEP. So it will be most benefited for the students, then the higher education institutions, then only for faculty. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We will now quickly go through some of the slides. Already the slides shared by Dr. Sunil Job. So we will quickly go through these slides, and we will see the opportunities there and what are the challenges. Okay. Now, this is one of my slides. Make India an attractive destination for higher education worldwide. So can you find an opportunity there? Because, we can see some of the countries, especially from Africa and Asia, students are here, already here in many of the universities. So if you can make India an attractive destination, we can expect more students from these countries like those in Asia and in Africa. That is one opportunity we can see. Then a goal of the NEP is to increase the gross enrollment ratio in higher education to 50% by 2035. So that means in 10 to 12 years, we can expect 50% more students in the higher education institutions. Now, currently there are 38.5 million students studying in the higher education institutions in India. That means 3.85 crores. And there are around 15 lakhs faculty members also in India. So this 3.85 crores will increase to around 7.30 crores. There also you can find an opportunity, because when students are there, there are more opportunities for the institutions as well as faculty members. Then according to the NEP, autonomy will be there. Autonomy means offering student, faculty and institutional autonomy. So once if you become an autonomous college, you are free to start any programs. You can decide the curriculum. You can decide the number of the student capacity, resource requirement, everything. So you will get full freedom when you have that autonomous status. So that will be again an advantage. So for progressive managements or progressive higher education institutions, if the institution becomes an autonomous institution, definitely there will be advantage. Then the threat is creating an higher education institution of large multidisciplinary universities and colleges with at least one in or near every district. So initially, there should be at least one big multidisciplinary institution in a district or the nearby district. So in future, you may have more than one. So to become that, the first one in the district, that will be a challenge. Okay, so we should, all the institutions, we should target for becoming that the first one in that district. NEP will bring together higher education institutions into large multidisciplinary universities, colleges, and higher education institution clusters or knowledge hubs. So that means, along with these big institutions, there will be constituent colleges or there will be clusters which will be joined to this higher education institution in that particular district or nearby district. And you can see consolidation of more than 50,000 higher education institutions into 15,000 large, well-resourced, vibrant, multidisciplinary institutions. That means only 1/3 of the institutions will be there in future. Otherwise, those institutions should be linked with some other big institutions. Then the question arises whether a big institution will allow you to link with them. So there are many challenges we have to face in that case. That requires a lot of discussions. I'm just skipping that also. Again, on a teacher perspective, energized, engaged, and capable faculty should be there. Already it's covered. There will be no adequate, no ad hoc faculty, or there will be no contract appointments. Everybody will be a permanent employees. Another interesting factor is a national mission for mentoring will be established with a large pool of outstanding senior or retired faculty to provide mentorship to university or college teachers. That means even if you're retired and if you're a great teacher, there are chances that you will be appointed as a mentor. So such opportunities are there for the faculty members. And NEP 2020 is more student focused. Like, if you have a product, if you are running a business or a company, if you have a product, it should be customer focused. The same way, the NEP will be student focused. So you have to develop or design the programs, the courses in such a way that all these should be student focused. And that is the objective of the outcome-based education. From teacher-centric to student-centric. OB means you should be shifting towards a student-centric curriculum and student-centric delivery methods. So these are all covered. So I'm skipping all these things. Vocational education, everything. Yeah. We will discuss about the challenges. Maybe. Yeah. Coming to the academic bank of credit. This is again a huge opportunity for a student, whereas this will be a threat or challenge for the institutions as well as for the faculty members. The notion of physical campus or geographical location to dissolve, giving flexibility to students to study either in a national or an international institution. So the students can study anywhere. A multidisciplinary approach to implement an academic bank of credit, which will be able to digitally store academic credits earned from various recognized higher education institutions, national and international institutions. Now, what is the impact of this ABC? Students have the freedom to join for a course, not a program in any of the higher education institutions. So unlike students who are joining for a program nowadays, like if a student joined for a commerce or a BCom program or a MCom program or an MCA program, instead of that, in future, the students will be joining for a course. Suppose our BCom program consists of 30 subjects, 30 courses over a period of 3 years. The first year you'll have 2 semesters. The first semester you may have 5 courses. Second semester again 5 courses. In total, in 6 semesters, you may have average of 30 courses. Now, the students can take these courses from different institutions. That is possible. And the academic bank of credit, it is already launched, and many of the institutions, the Central University, already they have registered in the ABC portal, and many students are also registering in the ABC portal. So that the students who are already registered in the ABC portal, they can have 50% of their courses from their mother institution. For example, if that particular student is studying in Calicut University, he can have 50% of the courses of the BCom course. That means from 30 courses, he can took 15 courses from Calicut University, and the rest 15 courses, he can go anywhere in India and anywhere in the world also. That is also possible. So that, sorry, 40% of the courses he can study online through Swayam, or some institutions may be offering online courses. So 40% of the courses he can take online. That means he can work somewhere and he can attend these online courses. So instead of spending 3 years in an education institution, he can spend only for, say, 3 semesters physically, or 3 or 4 semesters physically, and the rest of the courses he can take online and from anywhere. That is a threat, a challenge for the institution. A teacher can offer a course to any student, even outside the institution. For example, I'm teaching operational research for MCA students, and this OR is there in the syllabus for many MBA students or MCom students. So suppose I'm offering this operational research as a course, as an online course, and if the students are interested in my class and my delivery of the course or my assessments, everything, I can admit 1,000 students from anywhere in India. I can offer this as an online course. So Marian College will be benefiting where I'm working, and I'm also benefiting. So in that way, a teacher can offer a course to any student, even outside the institution. That is possible. Then learning to be made enjoyable with teacher as a facilitator. Great teachers and great institutions will have more opportunity. So this will be a threat for the institution as well as for a teacher. But at the same time, this will be an opportunity for great institutions and great teachers. Okay. Now, according to World Economic Forum, these are the 21st century skills. I'm also skipping this because you will get it from internet. And based on these skills, you have to design the innovative curriculum so that the students will take those courses. Again, coming to designing innovative curriculum, This is again 4 categories of 21st century skills. Tools for working, you can see information and communication technology, information literacy, everything should be there. Then ways of thinking, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, learning. Then communication, collaboration, ways of working. Then comes skills for living in the world, citizenship, life and career, personal and social responsibility. Actually, these are the 4 categories of skills which pave the way for the development of national education policy. Then the quality factor in academies. So what is quality? Quality is a complex and an elusive concept. It is mostly noticed by its absence, and you cannot quantify it. You cannot measure it like honesty or integrity. So in future, quality is a major factor in academics. Then coming to the accreditation or outcome-based education, national education policy, academic bank of credit, quality is a common factor. So when we go for accreditation, we'll take one by one. When we go for accreditation, you should attain a high NEP score, above 3.5. You should not compromise below that, because if you want to apply for autonomous status, you should have a score of 3.5 or above. And if you want to register in the ABC portal, you should have a score of 3.5 or more. Otherwise, you cannot register in the ABC portal. Okay, so that you cannot offer a course under that academic bank of credit scheme. And in future, those institutions will be wiped out. There is no doubt about it. So attain a high NEP score is very important, and be serious about this accreditation process. And many institutions, I know, many new institutions, new education institutions, they are going for NAC accreditation for the first time. So maybe after 5 years, they will be going for the second accreditation. By that time, the national education policy will be in full sync. So in the first accreditation process itself, you should be serious about your score. Then outcome-based education. That is actually a paradigm shift from teacher-centric education to student-centric education. The same way NEP is. Now, innovative curriculum delivery and assessments to be introduced, especially during this pandemic time. All of us are online. We are having online training, online learning, etc. And in future also, most of the institutions, most of the big institutions, they will go for this blended model, both physical and online model or virtual model. So you have to identify various innovative methods, how to deliver the courses online in a better way. So we conducted some faculty development programs along with the Higher Education Council for this e-learning process. So next week also we are having another program for 1 week. So if some of you are interested, definitely you can attend that session. Then measure outcomes. That is also very important. Not only the outcomes of the course, but you have to measure the teacher outcomes, the student outcomes everywhere. And many of the institutions, the colleges, they are going for implementing outcome-based education. And we are also supporting and we are mentoring some institutions for this implementation of outcome-based education. Some of the institutions, they are very serious about it. And some institutions, definitely, when they are going for a first-time accreditation, they need at least, to implement that OB for namesake. That also is possible for the time being. But when you are in the future, you have to go for the full implementation of OB. Then more focus on research. These are again with the OB. Then coming to new education policy, these are some of the challenges. Student enrollment to increase. That means you should have 3,000 plus students. That is one of the targets set forth by the national education policy. Then innovative new generation and multidisciplinary programs to start. Then only you can attract students. And once you become autonomous, it's very easy to start new programs. So every faculty member, you should be aware of what all things happening in the world, what all things happening in the industry, and which all the courses are in more demand. Then become autonomous in the near future, if possible within 5 years. That is again a challenge for many of the institutions. Then become degree granting institutions. So first autonomous, then you should become a degree granting institution, degree granting college or degree granting university in future. My college, Marian College, we became autonomous in 21 years. Now, we are planning for becoming a university. Maybe in 2-3 years, we will be becoming a university, and we will be the youngest autonomous college in Kerala. Already we have the youngest, we are the youngest autonomous college in Kerala, and we are trying for the youngest university in Kerala. So with that speed, you have to run. Otherwise, you cannot reach there. Then adequate systems and processes to be implemented. When we implement national education policy, it's very important that there should be proper systems and processes, because you are aiming for a big institution with a huge volume of students, along with the faculty members, and definitely there should be proper systems and processes. Be prepared for the disruptions. Actually, these are all disruptions happening, we have the autonomy status again in Kerala. It was a disruption because there were no autonomous colleges before that. Then the outcome-based education, that is again a disruption, because there was a shift, a paradigm shift from the conventional system to the new system, OB. Now with the national education policy, everything will be changed. A lot of disruption will happen in the next 3, 4, 5 years. And already it started. Then, as I mentioned earlier, the impact of ABC to be addressed, overall quality improvement to be the focus, because the Q factor in academics is very relevant nowadays for accreditation, for OBE, for implementing OBE, for implementing new education policy, for implementing ABC. Everywhere you should have that quality focus. Then focus on most demanded courses. If you want to increase the number of students, and again, if you want to attract students for our different courses, and those courses should be the most demanded courses, again, you have to design an innovative curriculum for that. The delivery method, everything should be innovative. And for that, definitely we need the best faculty members who has got creative ideas. So recruit and maintain best faculty. That is again a challenge, because most of the faculty members in India, they are not prepared with these challenges. So we have to educate them, we have to train them, retrain them, reskill them. So this is again a challenge for many of the institutions. So when we look at the opportunities, these are not big challenges. Okay. Now the time period for transformation of colleges, according to the target fixed by the National Education Policy, by 2030 become multidisciplinary, and by 2035 become degree awarding. But the early adopters, they will reap the benefits, because anyway 2/3 of the education institutions will be wiped out. So the remaining 1/3, if you want to become the remaining 1/3 of the institutions, definitely you have to start early. Okay, so that's about these challenges and opportunities. I think if you have some questions, I'd love to answer that, because we are already late. It's supposed to finish by 4:30. Now it is 4:42. If you have any questions, definitely we will answer that questions.
Audience, if you have any queries, you can put it in the chat box as it is enabled. Audience, in case if you find it difficult to post your queries, you can raise your hands. We'll make sure to enable your mic.
Yes. Do we need 3.5 compulsorily? Yeah. Only for those institutions with a higher rating, they can go for autonomous status, and for registering in the ABC portal, it is a must. Grade A or above, that is a must. Vocational education, how we can give placement to large number of students. Okay. Actually, yeah, the employability, there is a lot of studies regarding the employability of students. So there was a study conducted by a group. They did it for, they had a research for 7 years, and they found that only, around 8% of the students are employable. And from the industry side, there is huge demand for skilled students. So it may not be a problem for finding employment. I think so. We got A+ with 3.48. Got A+ for, most demanding subject, but what about a classical subject like history? So you have to go for multidisciplinary courses, like, you can, for example, these arts subjects like economics or history. For these subjects also, there is huge demand. For example, for economics, when we were studying, those students who are getting less marks, they will join for this history or economics subjects that time. But nowadays, if you just check the merit list of Delhi University colleges, you can find, history and economics students, they are on top, especially for some particular colleges. So there are opportunities. Okay, you got A+. Definitely, you will get. You can register. Those who are having A or above can register in the ABC portal. Regarding FDP, which you mentioned during the presentation, I think, yeah, I mentioned about an FDP on e-learning, best practices in e-learning. Probably that FDP will start on 22nd. That will be announced by Higher Education Council, Kerala Higher Education Council. Yeah. The special needs students for higher education included towards mainstreams. Yeah, definitely there are some schemes for them. Yeah, it is there. Any other questions? I think the questions are over. No? But, okay. What is the method of including student in the middle of the year who transferred from other institution? Okay, if you're asking about academic bank of credit, yeah, the procedure is like that. The institution has to register on the ABC portal. It is available now. You can register. The institution can register on the ABC portal, provided if you have a good rating for accreditation, and the student must also register in the ABC portal, so that if you are offering courses based on the ABC scheme, the student can join for the particular courses. That is regarding ABC. Funding essentially to make the changes in the system.
Hello, sir.
Funding opportunities.
Can you hear me?
The funding opportunities, I think you have to check for this particular area. Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
I just asked about the. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. You are audible.
Okay. If a student admitted in the middle of the academic year from another institution, how the fee collection of that student is possible in how it is possible?
You're asking about the academic bank of credit?
Yes.
That's scheme.
ABC.
Yeah. For ABC, the student is not enrolling for a program. The student is enrolling for a course. For example, I want to study, say, MA history. Suppose there are 20 courses in MA history. I will join for the course, not for the program. And if I have acquired the required credit, then I will get the degree certificate for MA history. And in your college, if you want to enroll for some courses in your college, I will be enrolling for the courses, not for any program in your college. That will be the future. Maybe in 2-3 years, this will be the situation. Now it has just started only. Some students have already registered in the ABC portal. Some institutions are also registered in the ABC portal. You can see that ABC portal. If you want to just show that ABC portal, I can just show you just 1 minute. That is your doubt, no? Any other questions?
Sir, while we are collecting the fee for the student, from it will be for the course only, not for the entire program, right?
Definitely. It will be like that.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll just show you the ABC portal, then you can. So this is the ABC portal. When a student is joined for a course, he will get the credits, and the credits will be deposited in the ABC, the Academic Bank of Credit. And when he joined for another institution, and finally, if that particular student is getting degree from some other institution, all these credits will be transferred, and he can redeem that credits. And these are some of the higher education institutions already registered. You can see the list. And the government of India has decided that all the central universities will go for this ABC this year itself. Okay, so this is the ABC portal. You can have an account as a student. I have registered as a student just for interest. So I have already registered. And if you want to register, you have to sign up with the DigiLocker. Then using that account, you can register. Okay. Any other questions? Actually, somebody is asking about the BVOC courses, and definitely in national education policy, they are promoting the vocational courses. And you cannot expect, funds like that in future. Mostly, there will be funds for specific areas like research or something like that. Okay, I think almost over. Any other questions?
Sir, we have one more question. Since there is no uniform syllabus, how we can implement multiple existent entries?
There is no need of any uniform syllabus. For example, suppose a college with a grade which has registered in the ABC portal, and another institution with the same grade already registered in the ABC portal. So the student will be joining for a course, and he is getting some credits. Suppose he is getting 4 credits or 5 credits, something like that. Then the entire credit will be transferred to the next institution, if it is A grade or above. That is why it is a mandatory thing that the college should have A grade. Otherwise, the college cannot register in the ABC portal. That means if a student studying in the B grade college cannot avail this facility, that will be a threat to the institutions. Because, in future, if the students are opting for ABC, the system, then definitely they will join only in the A-grade colleges for the courses. There is no need of any uniform syllabus, but this accreditation is important. The credits will be transferred from the same rated institutions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was a great session. So let's conclude it. Gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you will have even more to express gratitude for feeling gratitude. And not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Next, I invite Mr. Bijumon Sakriya, IQAC Coordinator, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, for vote of thanks.
The main hope of a nation lies in the proper education of its youth. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. Good evening and warm welcome to the concluding session of the National Webinar on National Education Policy 2020, Challenges and Opportunities for Higher Educational Institutions. Gratitude is a sign of noble souls. My sincere thanks to the Lord Almighty for making today's event a grand success by His blessings and grace. We are able to make the event what it was. Respected principal, distinguished guests, and honorable dignitaries, first of all, let me thank the college administration and the webinar team for giving me this opportunity in this gracious occasion. On behalf of the college and its entire fraternity, I feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to our eminent chief guest, Mr. Rajan Varghese, the Member Secretary, Kerala State Higher Educational Council, who spared the time from his busy schedule to grace the webinar with his extremely relevant address on national education policy. I would like to extend my heartfelt love and gratitude to the principal, Reverend Father Denny Cholapallil, for his enriching words and also for encouraging us and providing opportunities to organize such events. I take this opportunity to specially express my deep regards and gratitude to Dr. Mendes Jacob, Director, MCA Marian College, Kutikala. Sir, your speech was truly inspiring. It kept us spellbound and it inspired us. I'm sure a lot is going to come up after that speech. We express our gratitude for such an inspiring speech. I would further extend a hearty thanks to Dr. Sunil Job, Adjunct Faculty, Marian College, Kutikala. Sir, your speech was so thought-provoking and fantabulous. It really made us think. Thank you so much for such a wonderful speech. I would like to congratulate Mr. Abhinav, the coordinator, and the whole crew for the successful organization of this program and for taking topics that really matter in today's age and time. I would especially thank Mr. Rajesh and the team for their unfounding technical support. My deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the dignitaries who chose to be with us and attended the webinar with great enthusiasm and made it a successful event. Education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an open one. Education breeds confidence, confidence breeds hope. Hope is the light through which we see the future. Hope breeds peace. Let us spread the peace to the whole world and try to make this world a better place to live in. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
With this, we have concluded our program. Thank you for your cooperation. Thanks from the bottom of our heart. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ten more minutes.
Audience, please kindly note, 10 more minutes will be provided to fill the feedback form. You are requested to fill the feedback form to get your participation certificate.